The Cobb County School District has decided to eliminate the Accelerated Reader program from our schools due to budget cuts. Teachers at Ford Elementary have expressed concern over this elimination. This program has been built into many teachers' reading curriculum as a way to motivate as well as gain information on what and how students are reading independently. Teachers work with students to create goals for reading per semester or 9-week period, as well as target reading levels that students work to improve on. I have researched possible alternatives to Accelerated Reader that include web-based programs and apps for smart devices. Some of these alternatives are free and some are at cost. It is my hope that I can present useful information so an informed decision regarding the adoption of a new addition to the reading curriculum that meets the needs vacated by the Accelerated Reader program may be made. According to Renaissance Learning, the technology-based educational company responsible for the Accelerated Reader program, AR is a tool designed for monitoring and managing independent reading practice. It is devised to provide personalized practice of reading skills taught in the classroom while allowing teachers and parents to monitor students' vocabulary growth and basic reading comprehension skills. Students self-select books to read and then take a multiple-choice quiz that allows them, as well as their teachers and parents, to see how well they understood what they have read. At Ford Elementary, grade-level teams worked together to plan reading instruction that included use of AR as a tool for monitoring and managing the independent reading practice of students. Methods for determining targeted ranges for reading that provided both a challenge and success were developed. Incentives were also developed for celebrating these successes. Now that the program is no longer supported by the school district, teachers want and need alternatives to AR that are computer-based and within a manageable local budget. The following programs will be explored as possible alternatives. Book Adventure, a free online reading program developed by Sylvan Learning. Raz Kids, an at-cost online reading program developed by Learning A to Z. And Reading Comprehension Camp, an at-cost app for iPad developed by Smarty Ears. Book Adventure is a free online reading program that was developed by Sylvan Learning to encourage reading through interactive tools, games, and motivational rewards. It is similar to the Accelerated Reader program in that it allows students to self-select books that have quizzes already available, approximately 8,000 titles across grades K through 8 currently. Students can locate a book with an available quiz by logging in and accessing the book finder. The book finder allows you to locate books by title, author, ISBN, subject area, level of difficulty, grade level, or fiction versus nonfiction. After completing the book of their choice, students can log in to Book Adventure and take a quiz. For students in grades K through 2, the standard quiz has 5 questions. For students in grades 3 through 8, the standard quiz has 10 questions. Readers earn points for answering questions correctly. Teachers and students can work together to create individualized point goals and incentives based on those goals. Reports are available for teachers, students, and parents to keep track of progress toward point goals. Also similar to AR, these reports are simply tallies of points earned per book read and do not give data on the types of reading comprehension questions the student has mastered or with which he or she continues to struggle. There are sponsors of Sylvan Learning that provide incentive prizes that can be redeemed through email. Teachers and parents have complete control over this once a student has reached a point level worthy. It is my assumption that most teachers will create classroom incentives versus redeeming these prizes. Now, let's visit bookadventure.com. Now that I've piqued your interest with the words free online reading program, let's take a look at the student view of Book Adventure. First, let's log in as a student. Now let's find books that already have quizzes available. This is the Kids Zone homepage. To find books, I'm going to click on Book Finder. Now there are a couple of ways to find books. If you know the title of a specific book that you want to take a quiz on, you can type in the title. You can type in a favorite author, and it will list any and all books that have quizzes available through this area here. Or you can do it by subject. I want to look for books that are funny. Grade 4 is my grade level. Now I can choose books at my grade level, books that are a challenge, easier books. I can choose fiction or nonfiction, or I can just leave those blank and see what I get. I'll scroll down and click Search. And it's going to generate a list of books that have quizzes available already through the Book Adventure program. Now, I want to create a book list so that I can print it out and take it to the Media Center with me, or the public library, or the bookstore. So I'm going to choose a few of the books that I've been wanting to read that, hey look, they do have quizzes for. And I'm going to save those to a book list. Now, I already have a book list in place for the Pseudonymous Flash Secret series, so I want to create a new book list. And I'm just going to create a title, Funny Books. And then you do have to have a description, or it won't let you create the book list. And now I have 2 book lists available. I can click on the book list that I want to view. It will pull up all of the books on that list, and then I can print it to take it with me. Once I've completed one of the books from my book list, I can then take a quiz on it. I'm going to come up here to Quiz-O-Matic, and the book that I just finished, or for the purposes of this video I have just finished, is the name of this book is A Secret. Now you see I did not type in the whole title, I just typed in a few keywords. And here is the book that I was wanting to take a quiz on, so I'm going to click on that, and it pulls up the quiz. Now my teacher has given me 30 minutes to take this quiz, and because this quiz is in the 3 through 8 grade level range, there are 10 questions to this quiz that I need to take. So let's take a quiz and see how we do. Alright, I'm going to submit my answers. And now I get to see how I did on the quiz. And I got 9 out of 10 correct, so I earned 180 points. Now my teacher has set up my class to need, because I'm in 4th grade, I need to get 90% or better in order to get points. But as a teacher, you can change that to 80%, or you can do that by whole class or individual student as well. Now that I have taken a quiz as a student and created my book list, let's log in as a teacher and see what my teacher can see. Alright, let's log in as a teacher now and see how our class is doing. Here is the teacher home page. I have a tab across here called My Classroom where I can add classes and students to classes. I can create teams and contests. I can generate book lists for individual classes if I want them to read specific books and take specific quizzes. And I can gather reports. So let's go to reports. And I can choose to look at the class as a whole or individual students. Let's start by looking at the class as a whole, which really is just the one student. I get basic information here showing the total number of points earned, the quizzes taken and passed, the last book that they quizzed on, their score, and the date of the last quiz. If I want individual information or a few more details, not very many, I can click on the Students tab and select an individual student to view their details. Here I get a tiny bit more information. I get the quiz score, the points earned, the number of attempts that they did take the quiz, which this student was allowed 4 attempts and they used all 4, the reading level of the book, the amount of time that they took versus the time that they were allowed to take it, and the passing score that was required. I can also create a letter to send home. Very basic information again. It would list the books that they've quizzed on, the reading level of those books, dates and scores, and then I can print this off and send it to home to parents periodically. Alright, the Classes and Students tab, that is where I can create a new class or I can add new students to a class. I can edit class information. I can change the class size to 2 so that I can add another student. I can go through and remove students, add new students, change the quiz settings for students, like the number of attempts per quiz, the time allowed, the passing score. All of those can be edited here. I can create a new class. Here, the empty class lets the students go in and add in their own information. They register individually, or I can set up whole class, and that's where I can go in and choose the student and usernames. But I just wanted to show you that Book Adventure is probably the most similar to AR, where the students get to choose their own books, can work with the teachers to create goals for the number of points that they earn after a certain time period or a number of books that they take quizzes on. And then it has a very basic report system like AR where you can see the number of points that they have currently and information on the books that they've completed. Now that you've seen the similarities to Accelerated Reader and you are intrigued a little bit more and want to go a little bit further, there are a few things that I'd like to show you here on the home page that might help. First of all, in this Welcome to Book Adventure section, there is a short little video which kind of walks you through the basic setup procedures for adding a class and those types of things to Book Adventure. Also, the thing that probably gave me the most information was down here near the bottom of the web page called Learn About Book Adventure. I clicked there and just began reading some information through here and did this little tour the site feature. And this is where I learned the most about Book Adventure. So I encourage you to go through and do that as well and just click through each section, getting to know the product a little bit better. It gives you a little bit more breakdown on Kids Zone versus Parents Place versus the Teacher's Lounge, all things that I showed you previously. Walks you through the book finder and Quiz-O-Matic, the prizes, reports, how you can set up contests and teams within your classes, and then it takes you through the registration process for Book Adventure. So I encourage you again from the Book Adventure homepage to watch the brief video, I think it's about 5 minutes long, and then to tour the site, which I think you can do through this link as well. Raz Kids is an at-cost online reading program that was developed by Learning A to Z to help students improve reading skills by listening for modeled fluency, reading for practice, recording their reading, and checking comprehension with quizzes. A similarity to the Accelerated Reader program is the ability for students to take quizzes after completing a book. However, there are a few major differences from AR. One major difference is that the books on which the quizzes are based cannot be found in the local school media center, public library, or bookstore. The books are available online only as interactive ebooks. If you have an additional membership to another Learning A to Z product, Reading A to Z, you can then print the online books for use in conjunction with the online quizzes and other activities available through the program. Another significant difference between the two programs is the information teachers and parents receive within the reports section of Raz Kids. Each book and quiz has been developed to give explicit information on the particular reading comprehension area that the student has mastered or with which the student continues to struggle. This addition to the online reading tool can provide essential information to teachers who are planning their reading curriculum for the class as a whole or for an individual student. Teachers and students can still work together to create manageable goals for reading and can communicate through the online program to discuss progress through a unique messaging system. Teacher and parents can sign up to receive progress updates through email as well as through logging in. In the Teacher's Corner, there is a very useful video library that has many brief tutorial videos to explore everything from creating a roster, assigning tasks and book levels, to reading the various reports available for monitoring student progress. The Teacher's Corner also provides useful tips of how to seamlessly add Raz Kids into your existing reading curriculum and correlations to Common Core. A correlational chart provides information on the levels based on Fountas Pinnell, grade level, age, reading recovery, DRA, and Lexile. Remember, this is an at-cost reading program. The more licenses you buy, the lower the cost. Let's explore. Alright, from my home screen, I'm going to go to www.raz-kids.com. And this takes me to the home page where you see information about it being an online leveled books library for grades K through 6. Gives you just a little bit of a welcome. You can set up a free trial where you can load in your class and let them experiment with it, and you experiment with the reports before deciding on a license that is best for you. I do want you to know that this is not free like Book Adventure. You will have to place an order with the Learning A to Z company. There are some useful tabs across the top on the home page, the most useful being Teacher Corner, where you can access videos and other useful information for learning how to use RAS Kids. But let's log in first as a student and see what it looks like for them. So I'm going to click on Student Login, and I'm going to put in my teacher's username that she gave me at the beginning of the school year. And I'm going to look through my class until I find me, Mary L., and type in my password. And that takes me to my home page. I have 3 tabs across the top, the first one being my assignment tab. My assignment tab shows me all of the books in the level that I'm currently working on, some fiction, some nonfiction. And it gives me a progress bar that shows me how much I have to complete before I can move on to the next level, which in this case is level R. The next tab is Messages. My teacher can send me as an individual a message or can send a reminder to the entire class about something specific that he or she wants me to know. And then the last tab is RAS Rocket, which is the incentive part of RAS Kids. I can take my spendable points that I've earned and use them in the RAS Rocket area. Where I get to customize my rocket, my room, make it mine based on the amount of points that I currently have. Let's go back to assignment and take a look at one of the books. Underneath each book, there are 3 icons. The one with the ear means that I can listen to the book as I'm reading. The middle icon with the eyeball is me reading the text on my own. And then the third icon with the question mark is the quiz icon. And as you can see, it says, before I can take the quiz, I have to read Coral Reefs first. Now, as a teacher, you can set it up to where the students have to listen and read the books themselves before they can take the quiz. Or you can get rid of the listening to feature altogether, depending on if a student is working on fluency or just reading comprehension. So we're just going to read the book this time, and it pulls up the online ebook. Now, as I go through and read these books, some of the books are clickable, and not the books, but some of the words are clickable, so that I can hear what it sounds like or get more information about it. But not all of the books. The higher up you go, the less likely it is that that happens. So you can see that there are color illustrations as well as text, and I can go backwards or forwards through the book if I need to reread something because I didn't understand it. This is a nonfiction book, so it has pictures and diagrams and maps, all of those nonfiction features that typical print books have. Now I've gotten to the end of our book. It gives me some correlation information here, which as a student doesn't mean a lot to me. And then I have some options. I can go back home to my assignment page. I can read the book again, or I can go ahead and take the quiz. Let's look at what a quiz looks like. Looks like I'm going to have 10 questions before I've completed the quiz for this particular book.
You did not pass this quiz. Read the book again or try a different book.
Alright, so here you get some information about how you did with the book. It is suggesting that I read the book again and take the quiz again. And so I'm going to I can get back to the book from here, but I'm going to go back home. And as you can see, the icon for the quiz is still muted, so therefore it's telling me that I have to read it again before I can take that quiz. I did earn stars for my efforts for reading the book. You get more stars for being able to take the quiz and passing it. So I earned a few more stars. Now let's log out and go to our teacher view and see the exciting information that we can learn from our reports. Alright, let's use our teacher login now. And here is the teacher homepage. You'll see some similar things to the just general Raz Kids homepage. There's usually something that's been updated that they put in this area over here. They give you little tips and, of course, have access to some of the videos. Across the top are more tabs than you see than on the student view. You have your roster where you can add up to 36 students to your class, assign them names and passwords, and assign their levels from that area. You have an in-basket, which will tell you if you have some things that need to be graded or looked at. You have a place where you can begin developing assignments. And then here's the most exciting part, at least to me, and that is our reports. Now you can report looking by individual students or by classroom as a whole. And I'm going to look at Mary Lee because that's the student that we were earlier. And we have different reports. We have student activity, we have assignment progress, level progress, reading rate, quizzes, and skills. Skills is actually new, so I'm going to take a look at that. I'm going to click on skills and hit view report. Some things to keep in mind when you're doing this is that there are dates here that you can play around with. This is showing my progress for the last, or Mary Lee's progress for the last 30 days. The only thing is the quiz that we took earlier. So I'm going to change that to include the last year, because I did set up this fake student early in this past school year. So now I can see a little bit more information here. And it's listing all the skills for reading comprehension, story elements, recall, cause and effect, compare and contrast, and so on. And this shows me how many I got correct out of the total number of questions that were asked for each of those skills. And then I get this nice bar graph here showing me the percentage of how I've done on each of those skills. I'm going to click on activity up here because this is another view of how I'm doing on specific ones. For example, 11-teen, I read that book back in August of 2012, and it is a fictional book. And when I took the quiz, I got 7 out of 10 correct. And the missed skills were story elements, and there's 2 of those, and vocabulary. So I read it again, and when I took the quiz the second time, I missed 9 out of 10, missing author's purpose. And then you see I took the quiz a third time and got 10 out of 10. Moving to sharks, which was nonfiction, I missed quite a bit here. And the idea here is that with your students that are real, you can go through and see any patterns that might be showing up of particular skills that they may need to address a little bit more. Here's the assignment report. Just shows what I've done with each of the books in that particular level. And level progress is another graph. And reading rate would be if I had done some type of running record and they were recorded what my reading rate was. So those are the different types of reports that we have, and of course there is the classroom reports. You can see the class as a whole. I do have a real class in here, so I won't be able to show you that at this time. This second to last tab is the books, and it shows all the different levels that are available. And for each level, it's going to give you your information, like grade level and age range, your Fountas and Pinnell, correlation, reading recovery, DRA, etc. Mary was reading on level Q, so that's geared towards ages 7 to 9, grade 3, Fountas Pinnell N, and so on. And as a teacher from here, I can preview the books myself and have worksheets that are available to print out as well. And then very similar to the regular Raz Kids homepage is Teacher's Corner, where you get little tips every time you sign on that help you seamlessly add Raz Kids into your reading curriculum, gives you all kinds of letters to send home, certificates that can be printed. My favorite part is the video library, which we will discuss briefly in the next slide. From Teacher's Corner, let's take a look at all of the exciting tutorials they have in the video library. The newest addition to the library is usually the first video that pops up, and it does pop up and start playing automatically. But then you have a whole list of the newest video tutorials that have been added. We have our overview. We have all of the different tutorials about the roster. We have all the tutorials about the assignment organized here. And of course, one of my favorites, all the different tutorials about the different types of reports, how to use them and get the most out of them. Let's take a few minutes to look at the product overview.
Hi, and welcome to RazKids. This website houses hundreds of animated ebooks spread over 27 levels of difficulty. With RazKids, your students get the reading practice they need anytime, anywhere they have an internet connection. On this site, students can listen to the book while viewing the highlighted words or phrases, read the book at their own pace, record the book to practice fluency, and take a comprehension quiz to check understanding. RazKids also provides you with a class management tool that allows you to roster up to 36 students, create assignments, and access a variety of reports. Our individual and class reports will help you monitor student progress, and our formative quiz report will help you determine the instruction needed for each student. RazKids also features a time-saving online running record tool to determine the appropriate reading level for each student, as well as monitor their progress. The website also features a motivational Raz Rocket, where students can enter and spend stars they earn for completing their assignment. For customers that have a subscription to both RazKids and Reading A to Z, you will have access to hundreds of additional leveled ebooks and interactive comprehension quizzes in the On Your Own area. Reading A to Z and RazKids work together to help give your students the instructional resources and practice they need to be successful readers. Throughout the site, you will see video help icons. These short tutorial videos will help you get started and allow you to take full advantage of all the amazing resources on RazKids.
Again, keep in mind that this is an at-cost program. Learning A to Z says that a typical license can be anywhere from $64.95 to $89.95 per classroom. And of course, the more licenses you buy, the less the cost is to you. Reading Comprehension Camp is an at-cost reading app for iPad that was developed by Smarty Ears. It was created by speech pathologists to encourage both auditory and reading comprehension, and is specifically designed to encourage language growth and reading comprehension. There are 5 levels of stories encompassing grades 2 through 7. It is the first program I researched that allows for cooperative groups to work together to complete stories and quizzes. Similar to RazKids, students access ebooks on the iPad that can be listened to and or read on their own. They can also record their own reading for fluency practice and earn awards for stories read. The comprehension quizzes that follow the stories have questions across 11 comprehension skills, including the 5 WH questions: how, inferences, cause and effect, compare and contrast, sequencing, and vocabulary and context. One of the features of Reading Comprehension Camp that sets it apart from RazKids is the ability for the text to remain visible during the quiz process. Of course, if you have access to multiple Learning A to Z products, printable versions of the ebooks are available for use during the quiz process in RazKids as well. Teachers can customize the levels of the stories for each individual, the number of answer choices given for each question, and the question type. There is even an option to have the quiz read aloud to the students. The teacher can then access reports similar to those in RAS Kids that show the type of questions answered, whether the answers were correct or incorrect, and the percentage of correct answers for each question type. This feature allows for essential information when planning the reading curriculum for individual students or the class as a whole. This is an at-cost app only available for iPad at the time of this research. The cost in the iTunes Store is $19.99 for 50 interactive stories and quizzes. Here's a brief product tutorial from Smarty Ears.
Welcome to the video tutorial of the Reading Comprehension Test. This is a very quick video tutorial to guide you through the application. It's 5 minutes long, and if you need a longer video tutorial, just visit our website at www.smartyearsapps.com. Let's go ahead and get started, and to do that, we tap on Read, and you can see here that I already have 3, 6, 7 students, and I reported these students directly from TRC, which is the Therapy Report Center. If you're a speech language pathologist or if you're a teacher and you have multiple students, you can import them all at the same time from TRC onto the Reading Comprehension Test. If you don't have that app, you can also tap to Add Reader. Tap here to add an avatar. We'll pick an avatar and we'll pick the name. Well, we already have Jack, so I'm going to put a last name so we can have 2 separate students with that same name. If you need to edit the student, you can just double tap on that photo and click on delete or change the name. Now, this application is a multiplayer, which means you can have up to 4 players at the same time, and they will take turns answering the questions from the stories. But you can also do 1 player, and I'm just going to do 2 players to show you guys right now. We're going to have Jack and Jill. Here we have all the stories. The numbers on top of the stories are the levels. And we have here stories on level 1, level 2, 3, 4, 5 are all. The application comes with 50 stories built in. However, you can also create your own story using your own image, your own recording, and the child can practice writing stories also with this application. You have your settings for turning on and off the tag, the level ID, and the awards that I'm going to get to a little bit later. Let's go ahead and select a story. The story on level 4 is about 5th to 6th grade level, and you can see here if we tap on play, it will play the built-in recorded audio. I'm going to pause, and I want to show you guys some settings here. We have we can make the image smaller or larger, and you can also modify the size of the font to adjust to the child's needs. So if they need a larger font, you can have that, and if they need a larger image, you can have that as well. They can also record the story here, and then play, listening to their own voice. I'm going to now go ahead and show you guys the quiz. When we tap on the quiz, there are 11 different types of stories and 11 stories per question, 11 questions per story. You can just select 1 or 2 or all of them. You can adjust the settings for how many answer choices you will have. If you want to do one wrong, you can cross, buzz, or eliminate. You can display the hint, the story arc, or the speak function for each question. I'm going to start the quiz. And here you have the answer. You can mark and check for the answer. If you need the next child to answer that question, you can let him get his try. Then we tap on next. We can let Jack have his turn and check. And we can go back to Jill and get him to get the answer. And try again until he gets the correct answer. to go back and forth to the questions, you can click Next. You can also hide the image or hide the text. One thing that I did want to show you guys is the hint. If we tap on Hint, it highlights the part of the story that helps to answer the question. Once we are done, we can finish the quiz and take a look at the results. Let's take a look at Jack's performance that can be shared via TRC or via email. This was it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this application. Thank you so much for watching. You're welcome to visit our website to learn how to create your customized story on the reading comprehension kit.
The cost, depth of the product, report features, and reviews were taken into consideration when choosing which programs to present as alternatives to Accelerated Reader. It is my hope that the preceding information will aid Ford, the PTSA, and the community in making an informed decision regarding the adoption of a new addition to the reading curriculum.